Good morning. This is Gloria, the pink-haired lady from Indianapolis. And when I did my Pockets podcast, Alex Felice had asked me 3 things that I would tell any new investor. And so I had 3 points there. The first one was be learning based. The second one was build your community, build your team. And then the last one was always be giving back. So I decided on my next few podcasts, I'm going to kind of delve into those a little bit more with, those are truly kind of, some of the morals that I base my life by, and how I truly run my business and run my investments. And so I thought I'd just kind of talk about those a little bit more, just to kind of give you a little bit more insight into what I was thinking there. So today we're going to talk about be learning based. So some of you might know from some of my other videos that my background is my degree is actually in teaching, and I taught kindergarten and first grade for several years. And so because of that, it's like when you teach a kid how to read, it's just kind of awesome when that light bulb goes on and they just really know how to read, and it just kind of opens their whole world. So because of that, I have always loved to read. Growing up, my family didn't have a TV, and so I read like all the time. I remember like as a 12, 13-year-old, just like kind of buried under my covers at night with a flashlight and reading until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So I've always just loved to read. And then now that I'm in the business world, I'm constantly like looking for business books to read. Also, I mean, I know this is something that's important that I don't do enough, but when I was just on vacation last month, I picked up some fiction books. I love historical fiction. I love during World War II, Auschwitz. I love Civil War type, historical novels, that kind of thing. So I think that's also important to be well balanced and to read some fiction as well. But as we as investors are continuously, looking to build our investments, I think we also need to be learning based. And so watching podcasts, listening to podcasts, I have Audible. I have a list of books on my Audible all the time. And then I'm just constantly looking for books. And it kind of like helps with my investors too. That's one thing that I like to talk about with them is like, what books are you reading? Because it might, I have so many investors in all the different worlds, business worlds of technology and sales and different things like that. And the books that you read also will help in the investment world as well. So I'm constantly like just trying to see what else everybody else is reading and how that can help them. So I do have a few books here today that I'm going to show you that I think are helpful for me. So I was a Keller Williams agent for several years. Keller Williams is one of the top training companies in the world, and not just as real estate, but as all business companies. They were consistently in the top education in Fortune 500 companies. So I got so much training when I was at that company, and there's books out there as well. So the main book that is for real estate world is Millionaire Real Estate Agent. I don't have a copy, but they also have a blue book that's called The Millionaire Real Estate Investor. And that really kind of helped me a lot when I was first getting launched into doing real estate for investors. So that was one that I liked. And then they've also come out with 2 other books. This one is Hold. This one was, I actually went to Steve Chater is one of them that wrote them. I went to a class that he did. And then Jim and Linda McKissick actually started the Keller Williams in my area, and they're kind of the group leaders, if you would say, for our region. And so I've been to several seminars with Jim and Linda, and I just like how they set up their initial goals and how they blew right past them. So I've learned a lot from Jim and Linda McKissick. They've got some podcasts out there, but they wrote this book, Hold. And then another one that's put out by Keller Williams is called Flip. So any of those books that you guys are interested in, just shoot me an email, a text, tell me that you're interested in that, and I would be more than willing to send you those books, because I have several of those sitting in my closet that I give out as gifts, and so I would be happy to send those to you. So then some of the other books that I have read that I think are just super helpful. Tax-Free Wealth is one that I just finished. That one's kind of helping me, like especially with my kids, of trying to figure out if I have an S Corp set up and I hire them, even though they're only 12 and 14 right now, I can set them up so that I can go ahead and put half of their money into Roth IRAs. So that kind of, has tax-free growth that they'll have at retirement. There's some other things like that with the business side of my real estate, as well as, what tax write-offs can I do for my rental properties. So tax-free wealth is something that I just did. Set for Life is another one that's similar to that. Start with Why. That one's more of a mindset book of why are you doing what you're doing, that kind of thing. Good to Great is another one that kind of just like walks you through of, you've got your things going, but how can you make it better? Atomic Habits is one that I enjoyed. What I really like about Atomic Habits is that they talk a lot about doing small steps, so it's like in your research for your real estate investment, or for me, building my business and making connections with you as investors, of just changing one small habit every single day is going to really help you in the long run. Never Split the Difference. I like that one. That one is actually an FBI negotiator that talked down terrorist and was in big negotiating circumstances. And so that one I feel like works for me as a real estate agent, helping you with the investors of helping to negotiate. But Never Split the Difference. That was a fun one. Profit First actually changed a lot how I run my business, and how that I'm making sure that I'm taking the profit out first and then splitting up the rest of the money for expenses and marketing and retained earnings and that kind of stuff. So I am not an accountant by any stretch of the means. I hate P&Ls, but this Profit First really kind of helped me figure out how to run my business and make it profitable. So Profit First was one that I enjoyed. Rich Dad Poor Dad always comes up. I will tell you, I'm not a huge Kiyosaki fan completely. I mean, I like his business quadrant. I kind of run my life with that. I'm always trying to, where am I on the business quadrant? Where do I go next? But some of his philosophies I don't totally join with, and that's just me. But I mean, I do enjoy his books, and I think that's mainly because I'm a big Dave Ramsey fan. So Total Money Makeover is the one that Dave Ramsey did. And yes, I don't follow Dave Ramsey exactly either, because I have rental properties and I have mortgages and I'm trying to, build more of that. But with Dave Ramsey, the biggest thing that helped me and my husband and our family is to get out of consumer debt. So the first thing you need to do is just get rid of all your consumer debt. Then you have all kinds of money that you can go buy investment properties with. So that's really helped us. So that one was Total Money Makeover. Switch is another one. Honestly, I don't remember that one, but it was on my list. Some of the books that I have on my list to read are Platform Revolution, Fierce Conversations, Eat the Frog. Honestly, we know what that one's about. Of first thing in the morning, get up, do the things that you want to do, but you just never get to. So Eat That Frog first thing. Who Moved My Cheese? So those are some of the books that I've kind of got in my library that I plan to read eventually. So, honestly, want to throw it back to you of let me know what books you're reading, what books have helped you not only in your real estate investments, but also your careers that would just help you with mindset overall, that maybe would be helpful to other investors. So I've kind of kicked around the idea of starting a book club with my clients just on my Facebook page. So if that's something you're interested in, would totally love to get some feedback on that. So put in the comments below, send me an email, send me a text. What are some of the business books that you've been reading on Audible? What are some of the podcasts you listen to? Obviously, Bigger Pockets is one of the big ones. Brandon Turner's Burr Strategy. I know a lot of you have come to me through that platform, so I know you've read all of those books. There's tons of podcasts, tons of videos, tons of blogs out there. Indie Investor Pod is the local one that I'm a part of, that I would encourage all of you, if you're investing in Indie, it's one of the best resources for the local investors. So tons of podcasts, tons of books out there. Tell me, what are you reading? Are you interested in starting a book club so we can kind of start doing this together? So we'd just love to get your thoughts on that. Again, this is Gloria from Indianapolis. Feel free to comment below. Send me an email at gloria@gearregroup.com, or send me a text at 317-750-4998. Hope to talk to you soon.